I accidentally let my underwear show. He took it as some kind of signal from me. After he noticed my shoulder, he leaned in and kissed me without hesitation.
Don't do that.
What do you mean? Luciana, you were sending me signals to...
Signals.
Later I went to see a lawyer. I originally only wanted to get my unpaid wages back, but after hearing what happened, the lawyer insisted on seeking full justice for me. After her careful calculations, she came up with compensation as high as 1.8 million. Even I felt it was too much, but my greedy mother refused to let it go. She insisted on continuing the lawsuit, so the legal notice was sent to the writer's home. Unfortunately, he was not there at the time. The letter was received by his depressed wife. After learning about her husband's behavior, she suffered a complete mental breakdown. Worse things were still to come. While she was bathing her daughter, the little girl kept asking to play with me. Her depression flared up instantly. She drowned her daughter in the bathtub. Then she took poison and ended her own life. When the writer came home that night and saw the tragedy, and saw the lawyer's letter on the table, he immediately understood what had happened. Soon, the court arranged mediation. The writer arrived late because he was handling the funerals. Facing the enormous compensation, he did not argue a single word. He simply signed the check in silence. His calmness shocked me. The judge then told me about the tragedy in his family. Looking at the drawing the girl had given me on the wall, I felt overwhelming guilt and remorse. I never imagined the consequences would be so serious. After some time, I began writing letters to the writer, wanting to express my apology, but every letter disappeared without a reply, which left me deeply uneasy. One night later on, my brother suddenly called, saying our parents were poisoned by toxic mushrooms. I rushed to the hospital. My father could not be saved, and my mother was left paralyzed. I could not believe it. They had eaten mushrooms for decades. How could they mistake them? Then I suddenly remembered something. I had once talked with the writer about poisonous mushrooms, and even told him my mother often picked them. I shared this suspicion with my brother, but he thought I was mentally unstable. After my father's funeral ended, I started paying attention to the writer's movements. I noticed his writing style had changed. He no longer wrote romance stories. Instead, he began writing suspense novels. In an interview, he told the host that he had found a new muse. A chill ran through me after hearing that. To ease the tension in my heart, our whole family went to the beach for vacation. Only there could I catch my breath. When I went to get some water, I suddenly saw the writer. I refused to believe it was a coincidence, so I quietly followed him, wanting to see what he was up to. But after turning just one corner, I lost sight of him. I told my family about it, but none of them took it seriously. They even made sarcastic remarks, saying the writer should be thanking me, since at least he did not go to prison. Soon, a storm rose over the sea. We all hid inside the house, but my second brother never came back. After the storm passed, I found his body on the beach, and among the crowd, I caught another glimpse of the writer's face. When I looked again, he was gone. I did not know if it was an illusion. In the end, it was ruled an accident, but I believed it was not that simple. Years later, I kept a habit, never letting my younger sister attend events, personally taking her to and from school every day, just to prevent another accident. Yet that day, my eldest brother drove to see our mother. As he got out of the car, someone suddenly dragged him down. The attacker wrapped a chain around his fist and violently beat him. By the time the police arrived, my brother had died. Later, the police told me the attacker was a prisoner because someone had written to deceive him, saying my brother had seduced his wife. So the prisoner escaped from jail, just to take revenge on my brother. By then, I had grown numb to such outcomes. I knew my brother was not that kind of person. This had to be the writer manipulating things in secret. But the police did not believe my suspicion. So I paid a journalist and asked him to investigate the writer's scheme. The journalist wrote an article based on my theory and brought it to interview the writer. After reading it, the writer said I was mentally ill, that my brother had once sent me to a hospital for treatment, and that what happened to my family was karma. The journalist did not know whom to believe, so he decided to investigate on his own. He first found the poisonous mushrooms. Neighbors said my parents knew mushrooms well. They had eaten them for decades without mistakes. Then he looked into the drowning case from that year. He discovered my second brother died trying to save someone, but could not find any information about the person saved. Then he learned from the police that the man who killed my eldest brother was already a murderer. For him to escape such a heavily guarded prison, there must have been someone guiding him, yet the killer never admitted anything. The journalist connected the doubts of the three cases and began to suspect it was not simple, that someone was truly targeting my family. On his way back, the journalist encountered a fire. He immediately started working, contacting the police at once. He learned that a madman had set the fire, burning down a nursing home. Dozens of elderly people died. I also rushed to the scene. I angrily blamed the journalist for moving too slowly, because my mother was among the victims. The journalist was deeply shocked. He noticed that in the arsonist's backpack, there was one of the writer's best-selling novels. The plot in the book was exactly like this fire. He thought about the tragedies in my family, and realized they had all appeared in the writer's books. The journalist finally believed me, concluding that the tragedies were related to the writer. Perhaps he had been inciting his fans. To expose this conspiracy, he stayed up all night writing an article, and it was published in the newspaper the next day. But such a story without evidence made the newspaper owner furious, and the journalist was fired. When I returned home, I accidentally learned my sister had become a fan of the writer. She had secretly gone to interview him. The writer said he admired her, and even gave her his new book. Hearing this terrified me. I guessed my sister would be the next target. I could not lose my last family member. So I found the journalist again, and used his identity to enter the writer's press conference. I wanted to settle everything with him, but after hearing what the writer said, I felt a chill to the bone.
This justice is now complete, and it's perfection.
The journalist also sensed the hidden meaning, so at my request, he called the writer up. I begged the writer to end all of this. I said I had been punished enough, but the writer said it was not enough.
And the only person that can put an end to this is you.
I understood what he meant. After getting his promise not to hurt my sister, I turned and jumped from the 4th floor.
No!
The writer even attended my funeral. My sister developed feelings for him because of their shared experience. The two of them embraced each other. The journalist also arrived at the scene. Seeing this, he angrily cursed the writer, saying my sister was young enough to be his daughter, but the writer told him to mind his own business.
You should tread carefully, though, before you end up like her.
Then, under the journalist's gaze, the writer left with my sister. Do you think the writer is the killer?